Okay, I'm recording. I'm going to switch to speaker view, and I'm going to ask one more time if everybody would um, put their options on mute. I see a few of you who are not muted just yet. If you're on the iPhone, if you're using something else, the mute button may not be in the bottom left corner, but if you would look for it and mute your call, that would be awesome. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I said this was going to be 30 minutes or less. I know some of us are clergy and need to eat, and some of us are lay and need to take this quick lunch break and get back to it. My name is Jasmine Haynes. I am the communications specialist for the Mississippi United Methodist Conference, and I wanted to talk to you all today about getting up and running quickly with Zoom. So what I'm going to do first is take this link. I'm going to share my screen too so you can see it. My screen. I'm going to move some of these things out of the way. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great, great, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to give you this link, and you guys can have this as a little cheat sheet, either to follow along or, also to share with other folk as you get back to your conversations. One of the things we'll go through is the chat function. So let me post that there really quick. If I can get my chat up. All right, so you should see that link shortly. Okay, and you can just open it up, or you can open it up and look at it, or download it and save it to your computer as well so that you can share later. So this is the order of what we're going to be doing, and like I said, you can follow along with me. And I know we're in a time of figuring out worshiping online, so this is the quick start tip sheet to get you up and running ASAP. So the first thing we're going to look at, as you can see in step one, make sure that you have really high-speed Wi-Fi, because video consumes a lot of broadband width, okay? So if that's at home, that's awesome. If that's not at home and you have a neighbor or another family member, and sometimes if that's going to the public library in your area, that might be where you want to stream from. That may be, believe it or not, a Starbucks. They're pretty quiet. Maybe if on Sunday while you're having worship, if McDonald's is quiet in your area, but find a place that has really great Wi-Fi, because you're going to need it to keep streaming. All right, next thing is sign up for a Zoom account. Here's how. For those who are following along, you can do what I'm doing and just click on that link that's in the document. And I'm gonna go, it's got me already logged in, so let me see if I can log out. And it's gonna take you to this screen, right? And then you can click sign up, it's free. Put in whatever email it is that you want to put in. I'm gonna, for the time being, I'll put in my, if I were you, and this is not just for you, this is for the church, I would make this a church account, one that's specifically for the church, so that you can hand off passwords and usernames to other folks, key folk in leadership who need to have the admin and credential and information for this, so that you're not the one person who's scheduling all of these things. So maybe that's for you. I know my church, we have email, it's middlebrookemc at Gmail. So maybe you name it that, and then you'll put in your, you'll click sign up, and it'll take you to the next screen. And then you'll follow the prompt from there. It'll ask you for a password and some other information. It'll ask you to invite people. You'll obviously have the option at the bottom in the right corner to skip that step and to go ahead and get in, okay? So once you do that, oh, where'd my sheet go? So once you sign in and get an account, you're gonna wanna do a test meeting I'm gonna blow that back up, guys, so you can all see. And I'm gonna walk through this, and then after I walk through it, I'll start taking questions, okay? I don't remember if I've said that or not. And again, if anybody just came in, if for whatever reason we get disconnected, just click on the link where you found it again, and we'll be back in business. Okay.
During this COVID-19 coronavirus outbreak.
So we're going to do a test meeting. I'm gonna ask one more time if you can mute your screens if for right now. Everybody, if you'd click mute. Okay, so you'll do a test meeting and test out your video and audio, which it's gonna request that you do once you get to that point. So I'll go back here and sign in. I need to sign in. All right, back in business. So this is the screen once you get set up and you've assigned a username and a password to your account and you've clicked on, it's going to give you the option. So it's not something you have to do, but when you first get in and you're creating an account, it's going to ask you, hey, why don't you test your audio? Hey, why don't you do a test meeting and test your video? Make sure you do all those things, and it will show that you had success and that you're ready to schedule a meeting. So what happens is you see this at the top on the right side of the screen. It says schedule a meeting. We're going to click there. And so you see it's also on the side with the personal options with profile, meeting, webinars, recordings, and settings. So let's make a test schedule, okay? Let's call this Sunday worship at 11 a.m. What's Easter? Let's do April 12th. Let's do. Okay, and if you wanted to have a description, you could. People will see it and that can help them. Then you'd get to when, we said April 12th. I'm just throwing out 11 o'clock. I'm sure you all have varying times for worship. Whatever that is, you go ahead and put it in there. We're going to do 11 a.m. Thing to note, when you get to the free account, it's only like it's telling you, you're going to have a 40-minute time limit on meetings of 3 or more participants. So you're not going to get an hour with the free. You could do this if you had the paid account, and the paid account is like $14 a month, I think. So I'm going to click 45, okay, 45 minutes. So you want to be aware of that time period and of your worship service. So we're in the right time zone. It's essential. We don't necessarily have to do a reoccurring meeting. Let's go down here to video, and let me make this note. If you're the host, I find it helpful when the host has the video automatically come on, because you know who's speaking and that we're getting started. I would recommend that you not turn the participant on in the event that somebody is not ready to be seen immediately when they come in, so they're not fearful of that. So leave it off, and then they can turn the video on themselves as they come in. Always let the audio be both, so that if there's someone who calls in or someone who comes in from computer audio, let it be both so people can come in both ways. And here you see meeting options. I would make it a best practice to click enable join before host. That way, if the host is not on, the meeting can still be conducted without the host being on. Otherwise, you're kind of sitting there stuck in a waiting room, waiting for the host to join. I think in some cases, you'll have to wait, log out, and come back, and you won't know when the host is back. So always click enable join before host. Then once you've done that, click save, and then you've created your meeting, right? Easy peasy. So what I would do, because now you have to let everybody know that you've created the meeting, you can copy the invitation, or you could just copy the link and text people. But this is what copy the invitation looks like. So now, again, I'm using the free account. I want you to be aware that this is just the descriptive information that you've entered and the join the Zoom meeting link and the meeting ID. I don't generally set it to where you need the ID or password to enter in. If that's something that you want for your particular group, you can do that. They used to, with the free account, allow you to use the call-in option. But right now, with everything with the coronavirus, and they're getting such high volume with people getting the free accounts, that's not allowed at the moment. If you decide to purchase the Zoom, that again, that $14 a month, you would have the ability to let some folk call in, which may be helpful for your more seasoned and senior saints who may not be all that technologically interested in doing something like this. They can call in and still hear what's going on. So you can copy the meeting invitation, and then you can share that via email, text, whatever you want to do. I text a few people today. And that's pretty much scheduling the meeting. So let me go back to my sheet and take us to our next step. All right. So, and something to keep in mind, play a little, because you can't break it, okay? You can't break it, have a little fun, explore some things. So right now, I'm gonna take the screen share off, and let's try out some of these features, right? I wanna see the chat. Everybody type in the chat box. Do you see it? It's at the bottom, or at least it's at the bottom of my screen, and it's next to share. It's in that middle. And text me the name of your church and what district you're in. Send that. I'll give you all about 10 seconds to put that in the chat. Practice, use the feature. Can't break it. All right, we got folks in Petal, Senatobia District, Galloway, Barton. Y'all are from all over. It's so good to see y'all today. Thank you for using the chat and coming to hear about ways we can open our parish to being online and reaching more people with the gospel. So this is exciting. Okay, so that's the chat feature. You can see in the chat feature, and as it's on my screen, it's this slither of a bar on the right side, and you can either click, it says to everyone, but you can also click on one of the participants if you click that drop down arrow and say send a message to someone privately. So be careful between your switching between sending to everyone and your you may probably don't want to say anything too private, just in case you accidentally don't click on a private and you send something to everyone. But you can click on these to talk to people individually while somebody is presenting or while they're talking. I also have a file option, so you can upload files. And then there's 3 dots. Right now, mine says save chat, allow attendees to chat with, and then we can do that with everyone. But in you can raise your hand, and some in the paid version, you can make different notifications that you stepped away. You need to raise your hand because you need to speak and do different things like that. So we'll go back to sharing my screen. So we've played with some of the features. Let's look at, I would like you all to do this. I'm gonna stop sharing. There's in the top right corner, that is something that says speaker view. And if you click on it, it says gallery view, okay? So if you do the gallery, that's where you're seeing all these screens, and we look like the Brady Bunch, right? So you kind of see everybody in a little square, okay? But if you do speaker view, then you see pretty much the person who is unmuted, the person who is talking. So pastors, if you're trying to figure out during worship service, who is that still has the phone going on in the background, this is kind of a little cheat you can use, because the person making the noise is going to be the one that comes up. Speaker view automatically detects who is talking. So generally that's going to help people focus on you or the message that you're sending, and you'll see the shared screen. So you can play with it that way. I'm going to switch it back to gallery for now because I'm not sure if you all see how I switch my screen, but that's something that you all can play with. So everybody give that a shot. Just take 5 seconds and switch back between gallery and speaker view so that you know how that works. Okay, so let me give you some quick tips. Again, if something goes wrong or you get disconnected, don't panic. You got this. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you, okay? Nothing can be broken. All you have to do is go back. The buttons will be there. You can't break anything. And if you get disconnected, again, you click on the link that you had, and it'll bring you back into the meeting. It's a good practice to join the meeting at least 5 minutes early, just in case you have some technical difficulties that you need to work out. Maybe your audio didn't go all the way through, or you're having a Wi-Fi issue. I say 5 with this meeting because it's a free version, and you don't want to get in too early and like start the meeting early, because if more than one person enters the meeting before the host gets in, it starts the clock. So if you're in a paid account, that's not, I would set that back closer to 10 or 15 minutes, maybe hopping in the meeting early just to make sure you don't have any technical difficulties. But that's to help you get time, because you have to log in, and you have to enter the room with the video. It says I'm running out of time. So you'll get that message when you start getting low on time. So, run out of time. We've removed the 40-minute time limit. Yay! Did y'all see that, or was that just me? It removed the 40-minute time limit. I'm gonna keep going. Let's go. So yeah, just make sure you come in a little earlier than time, just in case you have any technical issues. Make sure everyone's muted upon entering the meeting. If not, just ask everybody to mute themselves unless they need to say something. And with that, you can either, if you have the raise your hand function, you can do that. Sometimes I just visually wave on camera, especially if we're in that gallery view, and say, hey, I've got a question. So you can do that too, and then be recognized to speak. If you're in such a large group like this one, or especially a smaller one too, like maybe 7 people, where people can notice, oh, somebody has something to say. If you're in a room with a window, make sure that it is not in front of you. That it's not behind you, that it's in front of you. It's just like when you take a picture, you want your light source to always be in front of you, because otherwise the window will be behind you and you'll be shadowed out. So, somebody in another meeting said that a person looked like they were in the witness protection program because they were shadowed out. So you don't want that look. Make sure your light source is in front of you when you have the video running for this, okay? When you're scheduling a meeting, again, like we walked through, make sure that you, in that meeting option, select enable join before host, so that people who get in before you can stay in and kind of start the meeting, get to talking before the host enters the meeting. Let me talk about some pros and cons really quick of Zoom. Obviously, there are other services that do this. There's WebEx and there are other things, but I'm going to talk about what I've found in my usage of Zoom to be a good thing and a bad thing. So Zoom, on a pro side, offers this free plan for webinars for group meetings of up to 100 people. So congregations, if you're small churches, you can do this. The free plan can work fine for you. So it supports large meetings, as well as if you had Bible study or prayer group throughout the week, you can do this. It's very easy. The paid version allows a dial-in option, which is great for your more technically challenged church members. There's an easy-to-use screen share. As I use at the bottom, if you look in that bar that kind of floats up, if you hover, all you have to do is click share and then select screen, or if you want to pick a particular page, you could do that too, and then push share, and you're in there and you've started the game. So it's very easy to use in comparison to some other things. And that's not just sharing, like I have a document. If you had a PowerPoint that you're using during your worship service, you can share that and easily run it along. There's no time limit. If it's between you and one other person, say y'all are praying together, you won't be cut off. And then you can join from anywhere on any device. I know some of you all are going to be on desktops. Some of you are going to be on tablets, Surface Pros, and some of you are going to be on iPhones. Some of you are going to be on Android. So you can hop on literally from anywhere. You can record the meeting locally, which is what I'm doing right now. So once this call is over, I'll take the video and it'll record it on my computer. And unless you have a paid account and you connect your Zoom to live stream, things like litanies, music, and other things that you would have to worry about with copyright issues won't be a concern. Now, when you get to live streaming, there will be some precautions that you want to take. I'll be talking about that on Thursday's Zoom call and going into detail about like Facebook Live and precautions that you want to take. The cons would be the free account tends to have a 40-minute time limit when meeting with 3 or more people, but God is good. And that got released today and I'm excited about that. I don't know how many times I do that in all cases, but I'm gonna let it roll. Due to the volume of people using it right now, like I said before, there is no dial-in by the phone audio conference. It's not available in the basic and the free account. But I would have to tell you that the pros definitely outweigh the cons, okay? So I'm gonna pull up some of these additional resources that I have here for you. If you give me one second, I'm gonna pull these up. So if you're following along and you have this sheet, you could just click on this. I'm gonna take that back. So for you guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna blow the screen up a little bit again. What I would do, can I copy it? Let's copy it. And if you don't copy it, you can go to the conference website too. This is gonna take you right to where everything we have related to the coronavirus and congregational care, okay? This is gonna be constantly updated. You're welcome to look at it. This is the listing of the Zoom calls that are coming up with the links. Here are some pieces of information about how to learn more about them and some other online worshiping tools. Again, we'll talk about live streaming, and then there are other sources to do this meeting as well. All of these resources are being continuously updated on the conference website. And then you have webinars on online worship as well. And for those who are, I know some people are still meeting physically. There's just some worship practices. There are a few more of these on the side where you talk about maybe Holy Communion. Those who are homebound, what kind of visitation practices should we have? Stewardship practices and online giving. You can click on those from this side. And then, you know, on mission trips, which we all need to be careful of any kind of travel at this point. Weddings and funerals, which you had information sent to you about that in the message that Bishop Swanson released, I believe, last week. So all of this is available at this Congregational Care and Coronavirus link, which is also easily accessible from the homepage. And that's, if you can see where I'm circling right here, Mississippi spelled out -umc.org. And you see the graphic is the first thing you see. And then these are broken down into those areas as well. So you click on it, it'll take you right there, okay? All right, the next one is Zoom has video tutorials, okay, that you can also click on and go into more information about. And so you can click on that list for specific things that you want to learn about: scheduling a meeting, Outlook, meeting controls, how to join a meeting.
Didn't even understand what you're saying.
Then there are live training webinars daily that you can sign up for. And then what I would highly recommend is going to our Facebook page regularly, because I can't put everything on the website, but as I get things and tips on how you can transition to worship and doing different things online in this coronavirus pandemic era, I'll make those available there. Okay, so let's see. So it's the Mississippi United Methodist Conference. Okay, all right. So that is running through the sheet. I'm going to stop the screen share, and I imagine there are several questions coming. Anything I need to, let's see. James, oh, okay, I see a hand raised. Preston,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can.
You mentioned something about PowerPoints or worship aids. If it's on the computer, can we integrate those documents into the Zoom?
You can, and it's not so much that you have to do anything. As long as it's visible on your screen, once you are in the Zoom call, if you go down to this bar at the bottom, as you hover around the bottom, it tends to pop up, and click on that green box that says share, and then share screen, and then they can see whatever's on your screen, whether that's a PowerPoint, whether that's a website, whether that's a graphic.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm gonna hop over to the chat really quick. Can you talk a little bit about the feature to add on webinar and pros and cons of webinar versus a meeting? And also, can you talk about Zoom to Facebook Live? Let me touch base on the first one. The webinar version, I have not used, but I've been a participant in the webinar version. And basically, the last thing I recall, because it's kind of like WebEx, where I don't think you see the videos, but people can speak. And you have that ability to control, kind of like muting everybody. So it's more control with that so that you can hear people and things. So as far as talk about Zoom to Facebook Live, that's going to be more with the paid account. And I tell you what, I think that's something I do need to expand on when I have the call about live Thursday. So that's a good question. Let me do some more research on that, Emily, and get back to you. Let's see. Am I missing?
Jasmine.
You're welcome. They're kind of flying in. I'm not trying to miss everybody's, but I do realize it's 12:29. So I'm gonna scroll up some. And James, if there's something I need to hit that I'm not seeing, please let me know. Okay, these are comments. Great, great, great. Everybody's excited about that 40-minute lift. Let's see. Jasmine, can you advise how to start an instant meeting using my personal ID number? You have to schedule a meeting, or at least that's been my experience. You have to schedule a meeting. So you can't get around, well, let me say, I don't know how to get around it. Can you tell us how we raise our hands again? You know, it's kind of funny because I've been in Zoom meetings where you could raise your hand, and then I see now that that's not an option in this particular one. I don't know if that's because it's the free account, but I know in the paid account, over here where you see the chat, like you would have the option to raise your hand. Also to say, I need a break. Can we take a break? And to say yes or no, and to do polls and things like that.
Jasmine, would you want to say anything about how people can change their background? That like you literally could change the background to be your sanctuary if you have a picture of that, or it can be something silly too. Like I did Davis Wade Stadium when I got on a family chat the other day, so that it looked like I was in Starkville. Can you say something about that, about how you might do that, especially if you're in a place or where you might have pets or children or things that you're not wanting to show in the view?
Right, which we're all in that position right now because everybody is from home. So if you needed a virtual background, if you look and you hover in the bottom of your screen on the left side where it says the mute, and next to mute to stop video, and then there's kind of this drop up arrow. If you click on that, it's going to give you options that says select a camera, Microsoft camera front for mine. I may not say that for y'all. I'm on a Surface Pro, so that's why it says Microsoft. Camera rear, and then that way you can switch from back to front. So the one that's facing you, and then the one that's actually on the other side. Then it says video settings, and then choose a virtual background. And then once you click on that, it'll have some pictures up there that you can choose. here's the thing. When I do it, it kind of looks weird. I don't know if it's because I have green on or there's green in my skin, so it doesn't work out all that great. So I tend to not use them. But there are other options. I've seen people who have backgrounds like this, things that you upload, or it's you can use something that's there. It all depends on what works for you. Mine don't work all that great. I guess it's something in my skin. So you can then click remove and then go to none, and it just X out and it comes right back. So, okay. Let's see, other questions. I don't see any more in the chat, but let me go back and see if I'm missing some. Thank you, James, so much for all your help in answering these too as we go along. Before we cut out, anybody else have a question? Uh-oh, one new message, okay. Okay. All right, I don't hear any questions, and I can't see all of your hands because there's so many people here today. So if I don't see you, go ahead and send out a message real quick. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap for today. I'm gonna ask you, please make sure you join if you haven't already and like that the Mississippi United Methodist Conference Facebook page. It's where things are constantly updated. We're living in an hour by hour kind of world right now. So that's gonna be your quickest and best bet to tips, updates, things with online giving. That's gonna be a challenge. So all those kinds of things are updated the quickest. And then of course there are resources on the website. Join tomorrow if there's anybody who is using texting or you're trying to figure out what's the best way to communicate digitally with minors, because there are some parameters that need to go around that, and I'll toss out some options that you can use. I'm not recommending one, but you know, we can talk about those. So that'll be the lunchtime thing tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll talk about live streaming. So, and Emily, I will have some research and look at that definitely by then, as anybody wants to look into it. His Facebook Live is so super easy, and if you have a Facebook page, you know, you can do it. You know, there's nothing to it, you can do it. So that being said, and not seeing any more questions, I am so excited to see all of you all. I am so hopeful for your ministries and everything that's going on at your church. And I would like to pray you out, and then we will disconnect, and I will see you soon. And I hope to see you when I have district trainings in your district on communications, okay? So let's just pray really quick. Gracious God, risen Savior and righteous King, we thank you for your creation and your tools to continue to do your work as you have called us on this great commission to spread your word, Lord. Bless all these people on this call in their media ministry and in all of their ministry and everything that they do, God. We ask that you continue to help people with sharing your word. Use us for whatever it is you want us to do. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. All God's children say, amen. See you all tomorrow. Enjoy your lunch. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, and ending the meeting is at the bottom right corner, or leave meeting. It'll be in the text is red and it says leave meeting. That's how you get out. If you're the host, it'll say end meeting, but remember, you'll end it for everybody. Okay, bottom right corner. Bye.
Bye.